Swadikap and welcome back to Cook Thai with Mumu, where Thai home cooking is possible for anyone. In today's clip, we're going to make the drunken noodle with beef, or เส้นใหญ่ผัดขี้เมาเนื้อ It is packed full of flavors and all the herbs. All of my non-Thai friends who tried it really love it, and I think you'll like it too. And as usual, I have all the ingredients in front of me, and also you can check it in the video description as well. Let's go over some of the ingredients before we move into the kitchen to cook. Because in stir frying, as the name suggests, it involves a lot of stir frying. And you need to pre-prepare all the ingredients before you actually cooking it. Because you don't really have time in between stir frying to actually chop the ingredients up. And the first one is this flat rice noodle, the white kind. This one I made it myself fresh at home this morning. It always tastes best when it's made fresh, but if you don't have time or you just don't want to make it yourself, just go to a Thai shop and buy one of those frozen or chilled ones. It's not as good, but it's good enough. And I don't recommend using the dried noodles because those one breaks very easily. It doesn't have the same texture as well. This one is always the best. I'll use beef for this dish, but you can also swap it to other proteins as well. All you need to do is cut it into smaller pieces, thinly slice them of about 1 to 2 millimeters or 1/8 of an inch thickness, just like that. You can also use velveting technique that I introduced in my other video to make this beef a little bit more tender. But I want to keep this recipe simple, so I'm not using it now. Next are garlic and chili. You only need 1 clove of garlic for this one, and as usual, just mince them up. This is always the case for stir frying. And as for the chili, I really do think that this dish is not complete without the chili. So you have 2 options, these smaller ones and these bigger ones. For me personally, I like to use these smaller ones better because they are spicier. But of course, if you cannot handle the spiciness, get the bigger ones like these. And for the herbs, we have fingerroot, kaffir leaves, holy basil, and fresh peppercorn. And I already arranged from the most important to the least important. If you can find all the herbs, then why not? But if you ask me, the most important one is this fingerroot. It's what defines the dish. Sometimes if I'm too lazy to find the other ones, I just get only the fingerroot for the dish. The other herbs of course contribute to the dish, but it's not as much, especially for this one, the fresh peppercorn. It is very hard to find. I'm so lucky that I can find this week in the Thai shop. But if you cannot find it, you can just skip it and don't use it at all. For the finger roots for this dish, we'll only need about 2 of these fingers, and that's about it, and you just need to cut them into slivers like this. For the kaffir leaves, I will separate them into the individual leaves and use your hand to squeeze it. It will tear the leaves a little bit so that it releases more flavor. And for the holy basil, you can actually switch it to sweet basil too. You just need to pick out all the leaves. I'll use about 20 leaves. And for the vegetable in the dish, I'm using these long green bean. I'm using these 2 exactly. You can also switch it to other vegetables, but note that those vegetables should not give out too much moisture when you're stir frying it. For example, you can use carrots or Chinese kale. And all you have to do is cut them into smaller pieces of about 1 inch length. For the cooking, I'll use the non-stick pan to keep it simple. But if you want to improve the recipe or you want the challenge, you can also check out my pad see ew video. I kept referring to the pad see ew video because they are quite similar. This one has more herbs and has beef instead of pork, for example. But eventually all the cooking method and technique are pretty much the same. So check it out. Use highest gas setting and put in 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, then followed by garlic and chilies. Stir fry until slightly golden, then put in the beef. Cook the beef until 50% done, then put in all the herbs except holy basil. Stir fry until it is fragrant, or about 1 minute, then put in the vegetables, and as well as the noodle. Mix them around a bit, turn on the gas, and it's time to put in all the sauces. Use 1.5 tablespoons of oyster sauce, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of fish sauce, half a teaspoon of dark soy sauce, and 1 teaspoon of sugar. Stir fry to mix the sauces into the noodle, about a minute or so, then put in the holy basil. Stir fry until the basils are all wilted, and you're done. And that's it. Plate it up and it's time to eat. And as usual, please leave me a like, comment and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. It'll help me grow my channel. I'll go enjoy my drunken noodle now. I'll see you next time. สวัสดีครับ